Woman's strange shed goes viral after her best friend takes a look inside. Jory Wilkinson was a mom on a mission. With a baby on the way, a house that she and her husband were trying to renovate and sell, and a pasture full of farm animals to care for. Life apparently just wasn't enough of a challenge for her. So Jory added a DIY project of very odd proportions to her busy schedule. Once the hardworking heroine was done, she surprised her family and friends with the unveiling of a lifetime. Jory and her husband Gage were a happily married couple, ready for any challenge they'd face. But in 2020, they found their lives turned upside down by a new member of the family on the way. Jory was 7 months pregnant, and as if that wasn't hard enough, they had even more daily challenges waiting for them. The couple owned a small farm which included several chickens, a few horses, and a couple of goats. Not the kind of life for everyone, but it brought them peace and joy. On top of taking care of the farm and Jory's pregnancy needs, the two pioneers tasked themselves with a special renovation project. The couple decided to sell their cabin home, but not before renovating it to perfection. They redesigned the home from top to bottom, and when the day came to leave, they were proud of their success. The only issue was moving back in with mom and dad. The plan was to move back into Jory's parents' house until they figured something else out. She and Gage then talked about moving into a trailer with their newborn baby until Jory had a stroke of genius, though you could argue it was more like a stroke of madness. Rather than move into a trailer and be packed like sardines, Jory suggested they build their own home. She heard all about the tiny home craze that spread across the country and thought the idea would be perfect for them. Of course, all her plans would go up in smoke if her husband didn't agree with her. Fortunately, Jory truly married her soulmate. Gage was all about these types of construction challenges, being a handyman himself. These two were crazy enough together to agree on the idea. They just needed the right space to start the challenge. Rather than building the tiny home from scratch, Jory wondered about using a shed. She found an old but sturdy shed that was only 400 square feet, knowing in her heart that it would someday be her new home. But another part of her asked the question, are we really going to fit in this thing? The plan was set in motion. Jory and Gage stayed at Jory's parents' house, paying rent, taking care of their farm and newborn son Cash, all while reconstructing the empty shed into a cozy home. Little by little, the shack of a shed transformed into a homeowner's dream. The first thing to go up was the walls of their home, which oftentimes had to be done late into the night. Gage was the perfect man for the construction job, and while he was the muscle of the operation, Jory was the brain. She laid out some brilliant ideas for the minimal space. Jory's design genius was in full swing. She even drew up a floor map herself with measurements and all the essentials of a home in mind. You could say that the two were crazy for tackling this arduous project, and you may be right, but the tag team had everything planned, including the perfect space for their son. For their baby boy Cash, Jory's floor plan set up a room that was 8 feet 9 inches by 7 feet 6 inches that could fit the little boy's crib with room to spare for storage, plus enough space to fit 2 adults. Though it may be a little cramped for grown-ups to stand in, it was ideal for the little baby boy. The rest of the house had room to spare. Just outside of baby Cash's room is a living room, which fits their small couch that sits across from the TV and fireplace. It looks like a cozy place to relax for sure, but just wait until you see the master bedroom. Jory recognized that she and Gage had just enough room to make for a snug master bedroom. Measuring at 10 feet 5 inches by 7 feet, they decided to go for it and squeeze in a king-size bed. Jory does admit the inconvenience, saying it's kind of hard to make the bed, but it's a really cozy space. That sounds like success to me. Now, we're sure you may have concerns with tiny homes, specifically when it comes to 2 spaces, the kitchen and the bathroom. You'd think with the limited space they had to work with, these spaces would be terribly cramped. Think again. Jory and Gage were able to create just enough space throughout the entire home. The bathroom has enough space for a sink, a toilet, and even a bathtub. The natural look of the wood, along with the addition of their little plants, brings peace in this quaint little bathroom. But the really exciting part of the home is the kitchen. Having a big enough kitchen can be the make or break point for many homeowners, but even with the small space they had to work with, the DIY duo created the right kind of space for any chef to cook in. They used a simple but ingenious design to make more space. Jory and Gage use their space to its fullest capacity, not only installing shelves that reach up toward the ceiling, but also using an L-shaped design for the counter for extra space. As amazing as all their work is, there is one part of the house that may be a bit too cramped. In between the kitchen and master bedroom lies the laundry room, which Jory calls a laundry hall. There just wasn't enough space to space out their laundry machines, so they stacked them onto one another. Most houses are like this anyway, so it's not a big issue, and no one in the happy family seems to mind. Jory shared this incredible project on her Instagram, receiving the greatest support in the world. Even her parents took part in the actual construction, supplying them with quality wood that was used for their ceiling. Then came Jory's best friend Holly. Her approval would be the real game changer. As a lover of all things DIY, Holly was a huge fan of what Jory and Gage were doing. She hosts her own YouTube channel, Living It Country, where she helps hundreds of viewers design their perfect country home. Holly was so impressed with her best friend's tiny home, she had to have Jory on as a guest. Jory was a little nervous about being on camera, but while filming Holly's show, her pride in her work took over. She guided viewers through her home and became a huge internet sensation. They couldn't believe they built the entire home for $30,000. Thankfully, none of the fame went to her head. At the end of the day, Jory and her handy husband Gage are happy with their simple life. No matter how much of a challenge it is to live life to the fullest, they are up for it. They've proven that anything is possible. It's amazing how a home project can bring a family together, or in some cases, even save a marriage.